Hi, my name is Madeline and welcome to today's watercolor tutorial. We are in week 11 of our 100-day challenge and this week's theme is lakes. And I polled everybody over on Instagram and this was the reference photo that was voted for the most. So let's get started. I'm using Bao Academy Rough watercolor paper. I have my Polina Bright Round 1 brush and I'm just grabbing some clean water and I'm wetting the top and the bottom of the little watercolor paper, and I'm going to pick up a few pinks, and I'm going to start with the very bottom, which is going to be the reflection of our sky. I'm going to keep that just a light pink. And then for our actual sky, I'm going to pick up the same pink, but I'm also going to pick up some purples and I'm going to mix that in with some of the colors on my palette, and we're just going to add some clouds. So I'm making a pretty creamy mixture of kind of a light purple, and I'm dropping it in the upper corners. My paint is not watery, and using a creamier paint than what you painted the background with is going to let you kind of create these fluffy-ish clouds. I'm not a huge cloud person, so I'm not going to make too many, and this landscape isn't very big. My paper isn't very big, so I don't have that much space for my sky, but the reference photo has a really bright and moody sky, so I did want to try my best to kind of capture a little bit of that moodiness and a little bit of that brightness. So you'll see that that initial pink layer that I dropped down isn't very bright, or sorry, it isn't very dark, pretty light. And so the clouds contrast with that lighter pink and it kind of brings out that moodiness. So I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to dry that off and then we're going to start working on our mountains. I'm picking up some indigo and I am going to do the mountains now, and we're going to do it very loose. So I'm going to just really lightly outline the mountainscape that we have right below our sky. I'm not going to make very many brush strokes. I'm just kind of, I guess, yeah, I would describe it as like I'm just outlining the mountains. And there are some snow-capped mountains. There are some snow-capped peaks. I mean, I'm not going to use whitewash. I'm actually just going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to actually let the pink peek through. And what I did off camera is I dipped my brush into my water cup and I just kind of like wrung it out of some of the indigo, and that, so then now it's kind of like this lighter shade of indigo, and that's what I'm using to fill in the mountains. And so I'm just, this at this point is just clean water. And I'm just pulling the light wash of indigo down a little bit, and that's going to fill in our mountain. And so I left some of the mountaintops kind of, I guess, light. The pink is peeking through, but to me that kind of signifies some of the snow-capped mountains. And then now I grabbed a really dark green and I'm using the tip of my brush to create the forest that we kind of see at the horizon. And I'm letting my brush strokes touch the wet part of the mountains, not all the way across, but you see that I did it on the very right side and on the very left side. Now I'm lowering the trees a little bit, and then I'm letting the green run into that washed out indigo again, and I like that because then the green kind of bleeds into the mountains and you get like that really soft kind of watercolor bleed look and feel, and I really, really like how loose that is. Now I am grabbing, I'm actually looking for another palette, and I'm grabbing a brighter green because in the reference photo at the horizon, there's like darker trees further away, and then there's kind of like brighter tree foliage closer to where the lake is. And so I'm going to grab a lighter green and I'm going to drop that in like right below where the trees kind of end on the bottom. Sorry, I'm going to grab a paper towel just so that I can kind of dab off my brush. So yeah, I'm dropping in a lighter green and I'm sort of pulling the trees down so that it has a flat-ish line, which is going to be where our lake reflection starts. So I'm just kind of bringing the bright green to the bottom of the darker green that I have right above here. And you kind of want some white space so that it kind of looks like trees. This is kind of like my way of loosely painting trees without really having to paint trees. And I'm going to bring that green, like I said, down a little bit. And so I have the darker green kind of further away, and then I have the brighter green closer to the horizon. And I washed my brush, and this is just clean water, and I'm wetting that edge, and this is going to be where our lake reflection starts. So I'm grabbing a little bit more water on my brush, and I am going to add some more green, and I'm pulling that lake reflection in. I'm pulling in the green from the top a little bit, and I'm adding in some green as well. And now I am wetting my brush, and I'm kind of bringing the water down a little bit. I'm grabbing some indigo on my palette, and I'm going to put indigo right below the light green that we have, and this is going to be the mountain reflection. So you have the green reflecting the trees, and then this indigo is reflecting the mountains. And I have my paper towel here, and I don't want the blue to go too much into the sky because I want the sky reflection, I want that pink to stay there at the bottom. So I kind of just dabbed away at some of the blue so that I kind of preserved some of my pink sky. And then I picked up some more indigo from my palette, and I'm just dropping that in. And now I'm just sort of taking the tip of my clean brush and I'm trying to sort of shape the lake reflection, but later on I end up just grabbing a paper towel and sort of dabbing at it because I feel like it's a little bit more effective. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of the green that I used to paint some of the trees, and I'm gonna drop it in because a little bit of the green on the lake reflection looks a little bit bright. So I'm adding that darker green, sort of just at where the lake reflection starts. And I just want it a little bit darker. Yeah, so I like how that looks. I'm now just taking the dark green and sort of making a line so that you can kind of see where the lake reflection starts. And then yeah, now I'm coming in with the paper towels and I'm just softening that blue because I want it to be lighter than the actual indigo that I used for the mountains. I actually end up dabbing the reflection quite a bit because I just think it looks better when it's a little bit lighter than the actual trees and mountain. And I like that. So I'm going to take my hot air tool, I'm going to dry everything off, and that is our landscape. I am really pleasantly surprised how nice this one turned out. So I really, really hope you enjoy painting along with me, and thank you to everybody that voted for this reference photo. It's a gorgeous reference photo, and I really, really enjoyed painting it. If you liked this tutorial, please hit the like button. It's a really small way to help my channel grow. And if you enjoy my content, use the following QR codes to either find me on Patreon or Instagram.